Hi, this is JoJo with Hookup Baits Podcast, and I'm here today with our special guest, Logan Howarter, as well as Chad Gerlich. And we are excited to have you here, Logan. Why don't you start by telling our listeners a little bit about yourself, where you're born, what school you go to. Tell us a little bit about you.
Your age.
My name. Thank you so much for having me.
You bet.
My name's Logan. I go to Liberty Charter High School in Lemon Grove and stuff. I've been fishing since I could hold a rod and stuff. I kind of go by a motto: faith, family, fishing, friends.
Oh,
Just
very nice.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, faith comes first for me, then family, then there's fishing. Like I just
Fishing's before your friends, then.
Yeah, that's how it looks like right now. I mean, I got my fishing friends.
Nothing wrong with that.
So I'll fish with my fishing friends and stuff. But yeah, fishing's definitely one of the top priorities in my life and stuff.
Love it. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. And how old are you?
I'm 16.
16. Oh, you driving yet?
Sorry, 17.
What?
Yeah, I don't know why I put my own age.
You forgot that you're a year older?
17, yeah. I am
That's a
driving.
good thing as you get older. Believe me, yes.
Yeah, that's when it starts going. Your memory starts going at
It's
16.
16, 17. So how did you get into fishing? Was it your grandpa or your dad? Or
Yeah, well, it was a combination of both. My grandpa and dad got me into it. I didn't start getting into the bass tournament scene until I want to say 5 years ago, and that's when I joined SoCal Junior Bass Anglers, and that's where they got me into my first tournaments and stuff, which was awesome, and it really just stoked the fire for me in terms of a tournament bass game and stuff.
Yeah, that's what tournament fishing does. Just amplifies the whole game.
Yeah.
And you've obviously had some huge wins. The Lake Havasu MLF High School, the Bass National.
Not wins.
Not wins.
Or-
Those are tournaments I fished.
Tournaments you fish.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
apologize.
He wishes he wins.
Yeah.
Not yet. Give it
Okay.
a year or two, then he'll be winning.
Yes.
I'm sorry about that. So the Lake Havasu MLF High School, Bass National High School, San Vicente.
And San V, I did win that tournament, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us about the win.
So that was the first tournament I won. So me and my partner were super stoked. It was like a lot of anglers say like everything has to go right when it comes to the win. Like just it was a perfect day and stuff. He got my partner got his first fish on a jerkbait early out on some just suspending fish and stuff. And then later in the day, we started fishing trees with Senkos and stuff. And then I stuck a kicker later in the day at about 10 or 11. And I thought it was a small fish, so I started messing with it. And then it jumped, and I was like, okay. So then I started fighting
Then it
it for
got real.
Then my partner caught another kicker, and then it just kind of all pieced together perfectly and stuff. It was super tight weights and stuff. I think we had 12 pounds, and that's what won it and stuff. It was just super tough fishing, and it was tight weights and stuff, and we just happened to catch a couple bigger fish than everyone else.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And do you think tournament fishing has made you a better angler?
Yes, 100%.
And how is that?
If I was casual fishing, I wouldn't be as invested as I am now, because when it comes to tournament fishing, you're looking for the edge, about the competitive edge above everyone else, what line you're using, if you're throwing braid, your rod, your reel, looking for that longer cast, just trying to make that cast that no one else can make, or having that bait that no one else has. So that's like just a massive thing in tournament fishing. You can catch them, you can win tournaments on baits everyone has, but then that's really your skill level on knowing how to present the bait and just fishing it differently than everyone else and stuff, and just being different. The key is being different and stuff. And I've gotten very big into JDM stuff and just learning all that stuff, because I'm always looking for a competitive edge from everyone else.
Well, as Chad has said, it's always those little things
Yeah.
that make the difference.
The guy that puts the most little things together usually is the most successful.
Yeah.
So, and that's what tournament fishing makes you look for and use more little things.
Exactly.
So
And how did you get introduced to the hookup baits?
I think it was about 3 years ago at the I think we first met each other at Fred Hall show and stuff. So that's where I first was introduced to you guys and stuff. And I had thrown your stuff a little bit previously, but once I learned how to fish the Hookup Baits, that's really where I started just catching them nonstop and stuff. And when I go out to nationals and stuff at Lake Hartwell, I went out last year and stuff, and Hookup Baits were a major factor in the fish I caught and stuff, just because those spotted bass love tubes and stuff, and it's just a different action than everyone else is throwing, and it's different. They've never seen it, just because Hookup Baits is the SoCal thing. So again, it gives me an edge above everyone else, and that's what I'm looking for in all the baits I throw.
That's
Very
fantastic.
nice.
Is there a certain color and size that you're most confident in?
Well, at Lake Hartwell, it was for 1/4 ounce mint, and yeah. Then here, if I'm throwing it, just because our bass are so finicky and pressured and stuff, and they love that small shad, I typically will throw the 1/16 sardine or chovy. Then I love. And then, but if I ever get the chance to go out to the ledge fisheries out Midwest and stuff, I would love to throw the heavier baits for 3/8 and stuff, 5/8, and in the shad colors and stuff.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, awesome.
And do you primarily focus on freshwater fishing, or do you also do saltwater?
I fish both of them. Recently it's been more heavily on freshwater due to just convenience and stuff. I go to school, and then I try and fish Santia Lakes 2 to 3 times a week, just to continue. It's my I don't do any other sports, so it's my sport, and that's where I practice and stuff. So I try and fish at least 2 to 4 times a week if possible and stuff.
So you're related to Chad as much as he fishes per week.
Yeah.
We share the same passion.
Last week you fished, what, 5 or 6 days?
Yeah. 4 days, I think.
Yeah. So what has been your best catch on the Hookup Baits? Like your most memorable, wow, I can't believe I caught this and it was on a Hookup Baits.
I gotta say trout on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be trout.
Yeah, for sure, trout. I saw a big school of them, and I was at DVL actually, and I saw a big school. I went back, I think 3rd or 4th cove and stuff, and I saw 2 5 to 6 pounders and stuff, and I took a yellow and white 1/32 and cast it out in front of it, and just started bouncing it and just making it dance and stuff, and that fish was tracing it, doing 180s and stuff for it, and finally the 3rd cast I've made out of it finally got super fired up and just struck out and hit it and stuff, and that was a super fun fight. I had to pull it out of the trees and stuff, just weave it through them and stuff. So on 2-pound test, so it's just a really fun fight and stuff.
It's always fun watching the big ones eat it. Yeah, that's sight fishing is one of my passions.
Yeah.
Years of trout fishing and sight fishing was always my favorite, and to watch them do that, following it and circling it and stuff, and then then they eventually, or you run out of room and you got to do it again, get them fired up, and then just to watch that mouth go whoop. It's so fun.
Have you had a chance to fish Pyramid Lake?
No, that's
on your bucket list?
That's a bucket list trip for me and my dad both. He got me into the trout game. He runs SoCal Trout and stuff, and trout fishing is his true passion, and he just loves fishing.
That's where I really first met you guys, through the trout fishing at the local lakes.
Well, you got to make sure you go up a trip with Chad and the boys, and they've just had amazing trips up there.
I'm sure.
Chad loves going up there.
Yeah. Yeah,
this year it was a little bit tougher there.
Really?
So I didn't go as much this year. The fish acted a little different. They spawned in a different area than they did last year, so it made it tougher fishing.
Yeah.
But last year it was. You're catching double-digit trout every day you're there. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
Is there a favorite rod and reel that you like to use? Or what is your go-to for tournament or?
For Hookup Baits is definitely a spinning reel. For bass, I'm throwing a Stratic 2500 on a Duckett medium 7-1 discontinued rod. it has a softer tip and stuff, and it just makes that bait. I really like how I'm able to fish a bait with that. And then for trout, I throw a Stratic 1000 5-pound braid to a 2-pound leader.
Now you fish light.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to think it's a Fenwick. Yeah, I don't know the exact.
HMX probably.
Yeah, it's a Fenwick HMX. Yeah. I fish that for my trout a lot, and then I'll throw a Phoenix Mirage too for them. I love that rod for trout. And then for saltwater, I just throw it on my bass stuff too.
Yeah,
So same bass.
Because you just do the bays, right?
Yeah, for the spotted bay bass and stuff. Yeah. I haven't had a chance to go out. I went out one time on Chad's boat and stuff for calicos and stuff, but I haven't had the chance to just go out deep. It's just I rather freshwater and fish. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a fish that is on your bucket list that you haven't caught yet?
Sailfish for sure.
A sailfish.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I did not expect that.
I was not expecting that
Just
either.
because they're pretty?
I think it's the fastest fish in the ocean. Okay. That's why. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I as a kid I just loved being fast and stuff, and then I saw the sailfish, and that's definitely a bucket list fish.
Oh wow.
And then a rooster fish would be cool too. Yeah.
Rooster fish are cool. I like catching yellowtail a lot.
I love yellowtail. That's my favorite. Local, that's my favorite fish to catch for sure.
Oh yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to get. We earlier had a podcast with Tanner, and he wants to catch a yellowtail. So we're gonna have maybe the two of you on the boat to go after the yellowtail now. What are your future plans in fishing? And obviously, you've got your tournaments and in general life.
Well, right now, my dream is to go pro and stuff. So that's what I'm looking forward to, and that's like my ultimate goal. I'm just networking and stuff right now. I want to be involved in the fishing industry some way because I want to work for what I'm passionate for, and I don't want to be stuck behind a desk at all. I just want to be out in the nature and stuff and just catching fish and just having fun. Yeah. So I would love to go pro. I'm hoping if I get a good enough scholarship to go to KCU and DBU are my top 2 picks and stuff, and
with the fishing programs.
Yeah, I would get a scholarship for bass fishing and stuff,
very
and
cool.
fish for them.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so and that's just coming up with winning tournaments and just showing that I'm a good
you're
fisherman.
a real deal.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome, and you'll get it.
Yeah,
the way you fish and your passion for it and everything else, you'll get it.
Well,
no doubt.
And obviously, we've followed you from day one, and Chad is the one who established the GROM program. So as you've seen Logan progress, what are your thoughts of seeing him progress and in the tournaments and the freshwater?
From the first day I really saw him, I still remember the day. I was at opening day at Jennings Lake, and you and your dad were on the shore, and I was in a boat full of the dudes from the shop here. And his first light and I think it was one of your first casts, you hooked a good one, like a 5-pounder or so.
That day was crazy. I caught 4 or 5 minutes 6 right trout, right rainbows. Yeah. Most people know those fish are super beat up and stuff, but I was fishing a Castmaster and jigging it instead of straight reeling, I was just jigging it up and down and stuff, and they were just the big fish were going crazy over it and stuff. Like it was stupid. And my dad, my dad at first told me you weren't supposed to fish it that way, so I just fished it that way, and I caught a 5 and a 6 doing it. So
that's funny. Yeah. And I remember that fish is taking you up and down the shore, and we're just in the boat just outside, and you're yelling at your dad, "Get the net! Get the net!" Hurry up, and your dad had to go all the way back to the truck to get the net, so you were hanging on to this fish for ever for his dad, waiting for his dad to come back with the net. That was the first time I really met you in person. I think we met up later that day and stuff and talked.
It was awesome.
Yeah. So and then what got you your ambassadorship? I just knew you as a fisherman from your dad and that, but it was a really, really good letter you sent JoJo. And so he did a great job with that.
So you went from 0 to 100. You just went right into the ambassador program. That's pretty impressive.
But then he proved to be a good choice because then he started doing the B.A.S.S tournaments and everything else, and then really doing well at that. So
Yeah.
and then to keep watching you progress with that, and I got some things in the works that you're going to be really interested in.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
So I'm
Well,
going to make sure you have them before your next tournament.
And the importance of being an ambassador is, I think you said it so well at the beginning, of faith, family, fishing, having your priorities straight, having the integrity and the passion for fishing. I think that has soared, and we are so blessed to have you as an ambassador as well. So that really stands out for us. Is there a time where Hookup Baits, have you been in a tournament where Hookup Baits has saved the day, oh my gosh, thank God, or a situation where you didn't know if you were going to catch that fish, but Hookup Baits was
definitely nationals at Lake Hartwell. Like I said, it was something different. They hadn't seen it before, and I was fishing bridge pilings. So I fished spotted bay bass and stuff.
So
flipping
just like spotty fishing.
Yeah, so I was flipping the spotted bass, the freshwater spotted bass, and I was flipping the bridge pilings, letting it sink, and just doing 2 pops, letting it sink. How I fish most of the time, unless I'm fishing trout. And I was just getting bit, and I was catching a lot of fish doing it, and it just proved to be a very successful pattern. I got a couple big fish off of it, and then our pattern dried out the 3rd day and stuff. So, yeah.
That's one of our other ambassadors, this guy named Don Brown. He used to fish the professional B.A.S.S tour, but he's a guide at Lake Oroville and Clear Lake. He's a full-time guide there. He's been a guide there for 20 years. I've had full-time with him last year, and he was using the hookup baits.
Yeah.
And saying they work, but it's not my favorite go-to thing. And then after fishing with me for a week, it's now the only thing he throws. And he says, especially at Oroville for those spotted bass, he goes, he's in 25 years of fishing those spotted bass, there's never been anything even close to what the hookup baits do on those spotted bass.
Spotted bass, love them. I don't know why. They're just different fish, and and I can't wait to try it out on smallmouth. That's really
smallmouth love them too.
That's what I'm looking for. Once I have the opportunity to try it out on smallmouth, that's really where I'm really pumped to try that for sure.
And there's a couple. Do you know Patrick and Kate?
Yeah,
Hayden, right?
I know of them.
You see them on the other
them
ambassadors. They fish a lot of bass.
Yeah.
And they've been using a thing I developed the last, when Patrick worked here last year, I set him up.
Not yet, can't tell.
And I set him up, and he said they've been just whooping up on all
sure.
you've seen the big bass they've been catching. So they were kind of my testers, and so that's why I fished 4 days last week. I'm doing the final,
fine tuning
of it. So
sure.
And it's gonna change your game a little bit. So.
Looking forward
quite
to
a bit. Going to change it quite a bit. Yes. And something that will be able to work in not just freshwater but saltwater.
Oh yeah, it's for everything. Just like every hookup bait. If there's fish there, it's going to work. That's what it basically comes down to, right?
So with that in mind, you said that fishing is your passion. It is your sport. And do you get time? Do you primarily fish by yourself, or do you get time to fish with your dad or grandpa? We just love your grandpa. And how much time do you get to fish with your family versus going out on your own?
Yeah, let's see. I've taken my sister out to Santee a couple times and stuff.
She caught a nice fish a couple weeks ago.
She caught a 5-pounder.
How's that feel? That your sister caught a pretty nice one?
I was pretty stoked for her and stuff. Like I went, I had to go get something from a truck, and I was running back up, and she starts screaming at me, and she's like, "I have a big one." And like at first I was like, "Oh, it's a 3-pounder." I didn't really think it was that big and stuff. And then I come up and I'm like, "Okay, that's a nice fish," and we weighed it and stuff, and it came out to be like 5 pounds, about that and stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
That's her PB and stuff. So I was super stoked for her that she was able to catch that fish and stuff, especially at Santee.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, was she following your footsteps? Is she going to be fishing more? Or?
Well, for girls in terms of college scholarships, but if you're a girl and you're getting into bass fishing specifically, the bass industry is looking for girls. It's such a demand right now, and colleges are giving away full rides and stuff, full scholarships
For girl bass anglers.
For
huh?
girl bass anglers.
Really?
Like, you gotta prove yourself in it and stuff. But but girl, if you're a girl right now is an amazing opportunity to get into the bass game right now. It's a really big opportunity and stuff.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
So she's looking into it and stuff. Like, she wants to get more into it. And
Is she your older or younger?
she's 2 years younger than me and stuff. Yeah, so I'm trying to teach her as much as I can about it, and she's learning how to tie knots and stuff, and I'm just teaching her the fundamentals right now, and just helping her catch fish, and just stuck for love for it and her and stuff. And then my little brother.
Well, I'm sure that 5-pounder helped with that.
Definitely.
Gotta be really good on her
really
application
stoked.
there.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And then my little brother loves bass fishing and stuff. My dad and grandpa, I fish with them as much as possible. It's typically with my grandpa in the saltwater and stuff, and then whenever he's available, we'll go out on his bass boat and stuff. But I fish with my dad a lot on the bass boat. And that's it primarily when me and my dad fish, unless we're going trout fishing, and then we shore pound and stuff, which is so much fun.
And where do you go trout fishing?
My dad loves Dixon. I'll fish Jennings every once in a while. We used to fish Poway, but then the stocking that went in there.
They changed their trout.
It changed and stuff. So we just didn't have the time to do it, and we're like, we aren't going up 45 minutes to catch small trout. So we're like, okay. So we started fishing Ditson was our hardcore lake.
How many people at Dixon use hookup baits?
A lot.
Pretty much every person there.
Pretty much every single one at Ditson. If you don't have a hookup bait, like
you're on the outs. That's crazy.
And they catch fish. They haven't stopped. The pressure from those baits haven't affected them and stuff, and they keep on biting them. And anytime I see them cruising around, I'll flip it, start bouncing it, and I'll just get smoked. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, trout fishing's awesome.
Wow.
Love it.
Well, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Logan. Hi, this is JoJo with Hookup Baits Podcast, and we are here with Logan. A couple of more questions, and we'll wrap this up. Talk to us more about these tournaments that you're in. Are you on your boat? Are you on somebody else's boat? How does that work?
So for SoCal Junior Bass Anglers, it's an amazing program, and people come out and volunteer their time and their boats for us kids who want to go a tournament fish and stuff. So they'll volunteer their boats. It's the boater and then two kids on it, and they're going against each other and stuff. And then they split the trolling motor time in half. And so that's just so with SoCal, that's what we do. But when it comes to the Wild West Bass Youth Trail, which I'm fishing right now, that's on my own boat with my partner and stuff, and my dad's our boater. And then for any of the FLW,
So is it just you and your partner?
You
alone,
my
or-
partner, and my dad.
Oh, so your dad
Just
drives.
because
So you
of-
need someone older to drive the boat.
Liability,
okay.
insurance issues
Gotcha.
and
Okay.
stuff. So there has to be someone, I think, over 24. Most
Okay.
people, that's how most tournaments run it and stuff.
Okay.
And so that's what I do with Wild West Bass Youth Trail, which there's a tournament coming up this upcoming Sunday and stuff. I'll be fishing. And then when it comes to Bass Nation high school tournaments and MLF high school tournaments, those are the two where I'm fishing in my own boat with my partner and my dad. And then so I'm going out to nationals for Bass Nation. I'm doing Bass Nation Nationals, which is at bigger nationals than the MLF nationals appears to be. They both have the same numbers of boats. Like last year when I fished for MLF nationals, it had about 400 boats in it. And when I'm fishing bass, I don't know the number of boats yet, but it gets broadcasted more by Bass Nation. They post it on their YouTube and stuff, and I just haven't seen MLF doing that type of thing. So Bass Nation, in terms of for Midwest, is such a is a lot better in terms of nationals and stuff, but they really do lack in the SoCal scene. From my point of view, bass anglers from SoCal, it's just not a lot of people recognize us, and they don't really see us as true bass anglers just because of there's a lack of tournaments. Our lakes are so small, we have to pay money for them. There's a lot of pressure and stuff, and then there's pressure all around the country now, especially with how big fishing is becoming. Like, all the lakes are super pressured and stuff. It's just SoCal anglers especially bass anglers are not recognized at the same level as people out in the Midwest, and that's mainly because of the tournament scenes and the lakes they have out there, because they're fishing there's a tournament every Wednesday, Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday. Like, there's just a tournament happening every single weekend, weekdays. Like, the amount of tournaments is incredible out there and stuff, and it's just a lack of it out here.
Yeah.
So it makes the getting known very hard, especially coming from SoCal and stuff. But I went out to the Bass Nation Combine, which was an amazing event and stuff. And I talked to a couple colleges, and that's where I met KCU and DBU and stuff. And they said they wouldn't even have considered me and stuff if I hadn't gone out and met them and stuff and talked to them about all, like, everything I've been experienced with fishing and stuff. So there's just you just got to work a little bit. SoCal is a very underrated bass. Like, the bass anglers here are sticks, and they know how to fish.
Well, I mean, the bass are pressured a little bit more here, so you got a little bit. You got to know a little bit more, and I've always noticed that about California is fishing's a little tougher in California. You know how to fish well in California, you can go anywhere and just smoke it. So I mean, I totally see that in you. It's like when you do start competing over there, you're gonna do well because you're raised in California, where the fish are a little bit more, pressured and a little more wise and all that kind of stuff.
And it's just knowing how once I do head out there. So the national tournament last year, I placed 74th out of 400. But this tournament, me and my partner are really striving for at least top 10 and
Very
hopefully
nice.
winning it and stuff.
Heck yeah.
And stuff. So that's like, we fished out there once. We know what we messed up on. We know how we need to improve and what we need to change when we're going into those lakes and stuff. Because the lakes do fish differently, but the major difference is it's just bigger. Like, we don't have... it's bigger, there's going to be more spots, and you're going to get bit faster. It's just a bigger, and breaking it down is a little bit harder than our small lakes here. But once you do figure it out and figure out those fish, you can catch those better quality and stuff, for sure.
Wow, that's awesome.
Well, obviously, tournament fishing, picking a partner, Al and Chad have been very, very successful in being tournament partners, and they've talked about the importance of what each of them bring to the team. How did you select your tournament partner, and why?
Well, I think this happened my second year of SoCal. We went out to the the MLF junior state championship and stuff. And this was the first year we were able to pick our partner and stuff. So we went out to each other and like, hey, you want to fish together? Because we both recognized each other as solid anglers and stuff. And
you both weren't like the last ones to be picked. Right?
No. No. So we went out to each other, talked, we hashed it out. And he lives up in LA, so it's a little bit harder. Like we can't fish together all the time and stuff. So at first, it definitely was a struggle figuring out how we fish together and stuff. and just figuring out our rhythm and how we needed to fish together. But now, after like the experience we've had together, we both know how each other fish and stuff, and we know how to fish together, and we've become a very good partner, and that's why we won our first tournament this year and stuff. So
Very cool.
Yeah.
And
that's awesome.
what words of wisdom would you give, Chad, to them as tournament anglers? What has been a success for you and Al that you would pass on to Logan?
Just recognizing whose strengths are where, that kind of thing. Where Al always trusts my game plan and my boat positioning. He never questions it, and we just fish, and then, and I trust Al with his ability, and I never question what he's doing. So just recognize your partner's strengths and have him know your strengths and work off of that from each other. Each person's going to have their strengths. Recognize it and use it.
And what about game plan at tournament day?
Yeah, and game plans. I mean, I don't know. It's just that's something you kind of work out. And what works for us is that I make the game plans. And I'll trust what. When you get too many people putting ideas in, and then it just almost becomes a cluster. You know what I mean? It's just you got to just figure out who's better at making the game plan, and you can put your 2 cents in, but if you put your 2 cents in and it's the guy making the game plan is like, I don't know about that, trust it. So that's the main thing, I think, is that just and make sure both of you are fishing a lot. I mean, it's just like anything else. If you stop doing it a lot, it's like any other sport. You're not as good at it, right?
For sure.
So like what you're saying, going to Santee and just practicing.
Yeah.
It's like, the more you can have a rod in your hand, the better you're going to be.
Yeah.
The more you're learning, never stop learning. I mean, you never should stop learning every time you fish.
Yeah.
So.
Has there been a hard lesson, Logan, that you've had to learn in fishing?
Patience, especially from fishing in SoCal. Slow as pro. When it comes to bass fishing specifically, if you can't fish slow, you aren't gonna be capturing the bigger fish, and you might not get any fish because you didn't fish slow enough. And when I'm talking slow, you aren't even moving the rod. Each cast, it could be 5 to 10 minutes long. You're fishing extremely slow and stuff, and it's just learning how to do that. And once you master how to fish slow, then you could start going into fishing that faster techniques. Like, don't get me wrong, I love fishing fast. Like, I throw chatterbaits all the time and stuff. Like, just fishing fast I love power fishing. It's my go-to and stuff. But if you don't know how to fish slow and fish slow right, and when you think you're going slow, you got to go even slower, then you just aren't going to be able to compete at the level other people are just because they're able to go slower than you. Being able to fish slow is such a major detail that people overlook and stuff. And I've had to learn it in fishing in SoCal and stuff.
We had a Ben Seacrest on. You know who he is, right?
No.
He works at Accurate. He's been in the fishing world forever. And we asked him that same question, and he said, fishing slow.
Well, he said patience.
Patient and fishing slow.
Is that interesting?
Yeah. That was like, wow. He said the same thing that somebody that's been in the fishing business for
Successful.
40 years, and then you got the new guy says the same thing. That's pretty impressive.
Very much so. So, next tournament, what's the one you want to win?
I have next week I'm fishing Saturday the WWBT trail. That's the adult teen series, SoCal series. I'm fishing with my dad's friend and stuff. So we're gonna be fishing that on Saturday. Then on Sunday I'll be fishing with my high school partner at El Cap again. I'm trying to win both of them. Hopefully we can. But really, like right now our main focus is winning nationals. That's our biggest goal right now. And if we can do that, that's gonna be, it's gonna be a dream come true. So that's like what we're preparing for, and we're trying to find the baits and just find the lures that no one else has, and that's just gonna set us apart from everyone else.
Nice. Wow. So what grade are you in?
I'm a junior right now.
Junior. Okay, so you only got another year of this.
Yeah.
Go time.
Well, we'll do everything to support you. And after you win nationals, will you promise to come back and talk to us and tell us all about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we appreciate your time. You are an amazing young man and have all the great qualities of Hookup Baits Ambassador. You definitely have your fishing down. I mean, I feel like I'm just talking to a young Chad sitting here. So thank you very much for coming in, and we look forward to hearing more.
Yeah, and you want to thank your parents for their support?
Yeah. No, my dad. Yeah, my dad has been.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Yeah, my dad has been like my number one supporter, and my mom, like my grandparents and stuff. Like if I didn't have my parents, like I wouldn't be where I'm at today. Like my dad's definitely my biggest supporter and stuff, and I definitely wouldn't be where I am. So definitely thankful for him and stuff, because like he's number one for me and like my number one supporter and stuff, and just helps me. He helped me be where I'm at today.
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah.
Well, we're also glad he allowed you to come here today too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks for listening. As always, Logan, thanks again for coming, and signing off for Hookup Baits Podcast.